Welcome back. So in the previous video, we completed the About Me page. In this video, by the order, we should have went to the projects page, but I thought skills page is quite simple to implement and projects page might take 2 videos to do. So let's finish off the skills page first very quickly. So what I want to do is I want you to open skills page and skills.css. So inside your skills component, you will find skills.jsx, and here let's start building our skills page. So first header is super simple. We already have a header. So VS Code auto imports the components for me. If in case it was not able to import for you, you can manually write this import statement here. Import header from up1 directory header/header. Perfect. So let's add on the props to it. Heading is going to be my skills. And then the details is going to be, I'm going to copy and paste these details from the deployed website. You can add any detail that you want. So it's going to be your details. So it's going to be your skills. So feel free to add any. You don't have to copy me here. Perfect. And now let's also add a footer link here as well. Inside the footer link, I'm going to give the phrase as get space in. I'm going to add the link as touch dot, and then I'm going to add a to address of /contact so that it takes us to the contact page. This is perfect. So let's save this and see what happens. Yes, it displayed the my skills and passionate about new technologies stuff very good, in a very good way, very easily. Perfect. So now let's do one thing. Let's implement this vector as well. So again, this vector, this at the side. So again, you can find this in your assets folder. If you haven't already, go to theleanprogrammer.com/portfolio/asset-assets.rar and download and extract the assets in the src directory. Perfect. So in the src directory, you can find the animation, this vector for the skills page as well. I'm going to call it skills vector. Perfect. So let's import this. Import skills vector from up1 directory assets/skills_vector.png. This is perfect. So now let's just beyond everything, at the end, I'm going to add a div with class name skills vector frame. So this is the vector frame for skills. I know I could have kept it in a separate component, but the thing was that the skills vector is a little bit different. It has a different size, it has a different position, and so on. So it's fine to have a separate thing for this, to have separate styling for this. It does not matter. Perfect. So I'm going to add an image with the class name skills-vector. Perfect. So in the src, I'm going to give the src as skills vector, and in the alt text, I'm going to give it as skills probably, and the class name we have already given. So let's provide some quick designs to our skills vector frame as well. Skills vector -frame. So why I have left some space above? Because again, as I told you, I would probably add something here, and I would love to style that first. So it's just something random. You can start from the first line itself. So basically, as I told you in the previous videos as well, I love to have the stylings in the order of the position of elements here. So that's why this is going to appear in the end. So this is not a hard and fast rule. You can completely start from the beginning. So the position I'm going to give absolute. Perfect. And in the absolute position, I'm going to give it a display of, you already know why we are doing this, because I have already explained you the thing behind it, because we have already given the section container. So the outer container is named as the section container, and the section container has a relative position. So that's why we are able to give its child, which is skills vector frame, a absolute position, and then we are also going to give an absolute position, which is going to be right of 0 and bottom. Okay, my typing speed is too slow today. I don't know why, but it's fine. It's not usually that slow, but it's okay. Perfect. So now that we have done this, let's also add a flex direction of row reverse. Let's add, because we just need to style it. Okay, I'll tell you later on, but it's something super easy. Okay, cool. So right 0, bottom 0, z index of, let's say, -10, because we need it to be at the bottom most layer, and then I'm going to keep a width of 80%. Of course, we are going to have a lesser width in the small screen sizes, but for the large screen size it's okay. And for the skills vector, I'm going to give it a style of max height is 100%, and I'm also going to give it a width of 100%. Perfect. So this width is going to basically make sure that this width, this image, fits inside our container. Perfect. So for the small screen sizes, again, small screen sizes, I'm going to give it a media query of only screen and max width of 640 pixels. Perfect. So let's give it some styles. Skills vector frame, it's going to be width 90%. Perfect. So I'm going to give it a width of 90% rather than 80% here. And in the yeah, that should be it for now. So let's see how did it go. This is perfect. This is looking so cool, isn't it? I just love this design. So I just love this design. Okay, I am praising myself, but okay, you should praise yourself definitely. When you are doing something good, you should definitely praise yourself. This is super important. This is really super important. Perfect. So now what I'm going to do is, now I am going to work on the skills card. So let's give it a class name of skill card container. Perfect. So inside my skill card container, let's just place HTML. So this is happening like this. So before going further into the styling and all those stuff, I want you to do one thing. What I want you to do is, I want you to go to the assets again, and inside the assets directory, you would notice that I have two things here. So first thing is this skills data. So this is the array that I was talking about in the previous about me section. So in the about me, I was talking about this thing, right, where you could probably have an array of objects where you will place the heading and the details, and you can map over that array and then place the React components. So I am going to do this in this video. So this is an array of objects. Each object has a skill name and a skill URL. Of course, you would want to probably create something similar for yourself, because your skills of course will be different from my skills. So what you can do is, very easily, you can create a list of skills. You can name the skill name as the name of the skill, like HTML, CSS, JS, React, and so on. But for the skill URL, what you can do is, probably you can go to Google and search for the logo for that skill. Let's say if your skill is, let's say Scala, or let's say your skill is TypeScript. So what you can do is, you can go to Google and download the this TypeScript logo, and you can place that TypeScript logo. Probably you can upload that TypeScript logo somewhere you can, let's say Google Drive or something like that, and then you will have a link, and then you can place the link here. You can place the address to that link here very easily. So you can easily check how to deploy, or otherwise, if nothing else works, it is very simple. So for example, let's say you can go to the video, let's say you can go to your GitHub page, just open any, let's say this was a pull request. Okay, let me show it to you. So this is a sample pull request, or just go to any section in GitHub. So I'm just telling you a sort of hacky way to do this. So what you can do here is, probably let's say once you have downloaded the image, let me tell you a way. So just go inside this thing, your where you have downloaded the image. So let's say it's assets. So if I want to upload or host this image on the internet, let's say this is the image, or let's say this is the image, I would just drag it to here. That's it. And once you have done that, trust me, it's going to give you a link which you can use anywhere. So you can just copy and paste this link, and let's say I copy this link, and you can paste this link here in the skill URL. And that is how you can probably make your own custom list of skills. So that was something super important that you should know, because trust me, your skills probably will not match my skills and my skills probably will not match your skills. So you should definitely have a custom set of skills. So yes, just update the skill URL here. That is all that I wanted to tell you. So now, as you can see in the skills data, we are exporting an array of skills. So I want you to import that array of skills here. So I'll just import it here. Where did it go? Here it is. So I want to import it. Import. What's the name of the file of this array? The name of the array is skill list. Let me just copy and paste it for here. Skill list, and I'm going to import it from up1 directory assets/skills data. That's it. And now once you have done that, let me tell you how can you map over the skills data and then create a React component out of this. Let me tell you how can you do this. We can use a JavaScript function called helper called map. So on an array, so the skills list is an array. So let's open a curly braces and then we can quickly do that. Skill list. Since it's an array, we can use map. Inside the map, we can get so basically what this map does is, map is just a function which can take in an array and then we can manipulate that array and return another array. Just understand the logic here. A function that accepts an array and then basically it does not accept an array, but it's a function on an array which allows us to modify every element of that array and then form a new array out of it. So what I'm saying is, we can map over each element of skill list, which is going to be skill, and inside that we can form a new skill. We can return each and every individual element will be changed. So we can return, let's say I can return here h1 with that particular skill. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to call the name of that skill is going to be skill name, skill dot skill name. Perfect. And that's it. You are going to see a magic here. HTML, CSS, JavaScript, React, Redux, Node, TypeScript, and so on. So that's it. That's all that is to it in making this list more extensible, because now whenever you add a new skill to your code, you won't have to copy and paste those h1 and p tags and image tag and all those stuff. You can easily create a new element inside this array at the end of this array. So I hope that you found it useful. Let's quickly, before ending this video, I know it has been a little bit long, but I have already told you that these last few videos are going to be a little bit long because they involve a lot of styling. So before ending this video, let's create a skill card as well. So I'm going to add a skill card, not the folder. Let me delete this folder. So I'm going to add a new component in the same directory, skill card skills. I'm going to name it skill card.jsx. So this skill card is basically going to be a stateless functional component. I'm just going to import React and I'm going to import the stylings from the same skills.css. So we could have a separate component and separate style sheet for this, but it's not needed. It's a very, very small component. So we can use the same style sheet. Perfect. Let's create a new component, and in the props, I'm going to accept skill name and skill URL. Perfect. So inside my component, I'm going to have a div with class name skill, an image with src as the skill URL, and the alt can be, let's say, skill, and a simple p tag with the skill name. That's it. So that's it. And now what we can do is, we can easily, instead of calling an h1 here, we can easily call our skill card here. So let's remove this and let's add a skill card. And inside the props, I'm going to pass the skill name equal to skill dot, or we can also basically we can destructure this element here, skill name comma skill URL. So you already know the trick here, but basically we can destructure it like this. Yeah. So skill name comma skill URL, skill name comma skill URL. So if you did not understand what happened, let me explain it to you again. That was a little bit quick. So basically this skill is nothing but an object. So this skill is having this, basically this is the skill data. So this skill is having a skill name and a skill URL. So we can easily do this const skill name equal to skill dot skill name, and we can also do a const skill URL equal to skill dot skill URL. So a shorthand for this is called destructuring. We can do simply const. So my typing speed is super low today. I don't know what happened. Skill name comma skill URL equal to skill bus. That's it. Skill name comma skill URL. That's it. You can do this destructuring, or you can do this destructuring in the argument itself. So you can place it here. So that's it. This was a little bit of shorthand notation which I believe you should definitely know. You are going to see it in a lot of places whenever you are working with React or JavaScript in general. Perfect. So let's return a skill card from here. Perfect. So as you can see, the skill card, it's already done. We just have to place it now. It's already showing the image and the title. Perfect. So that was as simple as that. And now we can do one more change here. So we can make a one-liner. So this is a function from here to here. This is a function. But as you already know, inside this function, we are just having one line. So in the one-liner functions, we can directly return the value like this. That's it. That's completely fine. And something went wrong here, it seems. Perfect. This is this. So yeah, no need of having this as well. Perfect. So as you can see, this is going to work now. This is working perfectly. So now there's a little bit more work to do. Let's add a little bit of stylings to our skills page. So let's first of all, let's add a little bit of styling to our skill card container, this thing skill card container. So I'm going to name it skill card container, and let's add the display flex. As always, I'm just using a flex box everywhere. Flex direction row, flex wrap is going to be wrap, because as you can see here very easily, this whole thing can wrap as well. Let me see. So this skill section can go outside the container in case of small screen size. So for the small screen size, I want it to go to the next line. So that's why I'm not using a grid, because if we would have to define a grid, we would have to define it separately for each screen size. So but using a flex box here is super comfortable, because it will automatically align itself based on the screen size. So that's why I'm preferring flex box here instead of grid. Perfect. So let's do one more thing. Justify content center because we need to justify its center. Let's give it a proper margin of, let's say, 80 pixels and 20 pixels, 20%. So 80 pixels top and bottom, 20% left and right. Perfect. Let's give our skill. This skill was this class name inside the skill card. We are going to give it a display of flex once again. Inside this, the flex direction is going to be column. Inside this, the width is going to be 150 pixels. I'm just defining a proper width. I'm going to align items as center. I'm going to give it a margin bottom of 20 pixels. Perfect. This is super cool. And now inside my skill, for styling the image, I'm going to give it a width of 108 pixels, sorry. 108 pixels. I'm going to give it a margin bottom of 15 pixels, and yes, I'm going to give it a filter of, let's say, drop shadow, and inside the drop shadow I'm going to give it the same drop shadow that you already know, 0 pixels, 4 pixels, 4 pixels, and an RGB with alpha value, a black with alpha value of 0.25. Perfect. Now that's pretty much it. Let's give it a little bit of styling to our skill, our p tag inside our skill. So inside this, I'm going to give it a font size of 24 pixels. Let's use the same font family as Montserrat. Again, if you don't have this font family, you can install it or install it from Google Fonts. Otherwise, you can use a Roboto font, or you can use a Poppins font, which you already included. Perfect. So let's give it a line height of 24 or 36 pixels this time. 36 pixel, 36, and text align center. Let's give it a letter spacing as well as minus 0.015 ems. Perfect. Let's give it a color of a dark color. Let's give it a black color itself. That's more or less it. And finally, let's also add a little bit of change here in the skill card container. I'm going to give it a margin of 80 pixels and 10%. So as you can see, in the bigger size, we are giving left and right margin as 20%, but in the smaller screen size, we are giving the left and right margin as 10 pixels. So that's it. We are done with the skills page. If you inspect this element and if you see the screen size, it's completely responsive. And now this is so cool. You have built the About Me section, you have built the home page, you have built the model, you have built the About Me section, and you have also built the skills section. Only 2 more pages to go, and then we would be done with our application. This is so cool. I am totally loving it. If you like it, don't forget to share it with your friends as well, because you know it takes in a lot of time and efforts to build these courses for you. So I would really appreciate if you spread the word for me. Thank you so much. Bye bye. See you in the next video very soon.